this demo, we're going to showcase the Airspace Safety Margin Evaluation Tool, or ASMET. To start using ASMET, we're going to log into the web console. And the first thing that you're going to see is a blank map on the right side. And on the left, you're going to see a series of time elements, or epochs. And as you can see, we're starting with 1745 Zulu, which is the most current epoch at the time of this recording. And then you'll see every other 15 minutes, all the way up to 2130 Zulu time. You'll notice that inside of each area, you'll have a safety margin status for the Atlanta International Airport. This status will showcase terminal operations, which includes the runway and ILS status, convective weather, the airspace status for arrivals, and the airspace status for departures. And then we'll also have an area for weather status, which will show us our cloud base and current visibility. You'll also see different color coding depending on the margin status for each one of these areas. Green obviously indicates that there are no issues for any kind of anomalies or any safety margin problems. Yellow indicates that there is a slight elevation in the safety margin, and red obviously means that there is some issue that has to be addressed potentially for that area. At the very top, you'll notice that there's a color coding for each 15-minute epoch. So for this 1745 Zulu epoch, we currently have a green status. Each one of these areas has a certain weight, which is computed on the fly from various data sources. And then, as you'll notice, we can scroll down to a different area and we can see the safety margin status for the 1815 Zulu time slot. Now, how do we use the map? So let's go back to 1745 Zulu and go to the right side here and click on the small icon in the upper right corner, and it gives us a menu. So the first thing that we can do is we can look at the gate forecast. Now, obviously, these are not gates in the traditional sense of passengers using gates. These are the actual arrival and departure gates for the Atlanta airport. And at the moment, we have a green status. We're not showing any kind of issues with the safety margin. We can also zoom out in the map and zoom back in. And then we also have some other options as well. We can look at the arrival density. The arrival density shows us the 4 different arrival gates: northwest, northeast, southeast, and southwest. And as you can see, currently we have red in the northwest sector because we're over a threshold of 10. You can see the different fixes within the northwest sector, and currently this is red. The northeast sector has yellow because we're have a lot of traffic coming in. And then the southeast and southwest sectors are colored green because they're in normal safety margin status. Conversely, we can also look at the departure density, and this is basically showcased by north, south, east, and west. And at the moment, our north gate is showing some yellow, east is showing 2 departures, the others are showing none at the current for this 15-minute epoch. We also can look at some other aspects of this ASMET real-time monitor by looking at the radar and seeing what's on the radar. And at the moment, there's a few storms down here in the Gulf area, but nothing really affecting the Atlanta area. We can also look at special use airspace, the winds, and we can also look at any kind of segments that might be happening. So let's zoom out and see if there's any. So there's a couple segments that are outside of the Atlanta TRACON. We can also then go to other different epochs. So let's look at 1950 Zulu, and we can see that the data can change slightly. So we can move back to arrivals, and we can see the data changing. So this gives the operator a full, clear view of what's happening within the Atlanta airspace from the current status all the way up to several hours potentially using a predictive model. And that's an important understanding of this, is that the 1745 epoch is the most current status, and then on is basically predictive information on what's going to happen with the weather, the terminal operations. I should also mention that at the moment we don't see any runway closings, and the ILS is fine. If there were any runway closings, they'd be listed here in this box on the left side. And if there are any issues with the ILS, we'd also see that as well.